Back in 1988, Ozzy Osbourne introduced the world to a skinny, young, blonde guitar player named Zakk Wylde, and the world of guitar has never been the same since. But what can we learn from his playing all these years later? Let's talk about that. Hey kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. Over my many years as a guitar teacher and touring musician, I've learned thousands of songs, and they've all taught me something that stuck with me and helped me along the way. Mastering tunes makes us better players, and that's why every guitarist should learn Miracle Man by Ozzy Osbourne. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, take yourself back to 1988, like the heyday of shred guitar, right? And you get a call as like a 21-year-old guy to fill the shoes of Randy fucking Rhoads and Jakey Lee that have come before you. And Brad Gillis there for a minute too, let's not forget about him. The way that Zakk rose to the occasion and absolutely knocked it out of the park on the No Rest for the Wicked album has to be like one of the biggest mic drops in guitar history. That record, of course, kicks off with Miracle Man, which we're going to be talking about today, and it features so many of the things that we've loved about Zakk's playing his entire career. It's got the monster pinch harmonics, the really aggressive picking, the crazy tune-up string pentatonic attacks, the wah pedal stuff. It's like a masterclass in all things Zakk, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. But you're going to get even more out of this video if you check out the extended and ad-free cut that's only available on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. People are calling it the best and cheapest cult they've ever joined. That's because for only $1 a month, you can get access to that video as well as hundreds of other bonus goodies. So don't delay. Sign up today over at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. I'll see you there. Gear-wise for today's video, the theme is only black and gold things. I'm going to be playing my Gibson/Victoria gold top right here. And I've got that running into one of my favorite boost pedals in the world. That's the MXR Super Badass Modified Overdrive. Now, Zakk used to use the Boss SD1 all the time back in the day, which is one of my favorite pedals ever. And this MXR pedal is kind of their take on a tweaked version of an SD1. And that makes it the perfect choice to go in front of my amp of choice today, the new Synergy Marshall JCM 800 module. You gotta have that 800 type tone if you want to capture those old school Zakk vibes, and this module does it so freaking well. Absolutely amazing piece of gear. Now you guys know what time it is. Let's get into it. One of my lovely and loyal patrons suggested that I add a difficulty scale to these Songs Everybody Should Learn videos, and I think that's a pretty dang good idea. On a scale of 10, difficulty-wise, I'm going to say if you're not playing the solo, if you're just playing the rhythm guitar parts, this is probably like maybe a 5 out of 10. It's pretty approachable. If you're adding in the solo, it gets a little bit hairy. That's probably going to take it to more like a 7 out of 10, let's say. First things first, if you want to play along with this song, be sure to tune your guitar down 1/2 step to E flat, or D sharp if you're one of those people, or D hashtag if you're one of those other people. The song kicks off with that badass signature riff, which can really help us improve our muting skills and work on something that I call the Ozzy bounce. Let's check it out. Such a sick riff, and I learned recently over on Chris Gartz's podcast with Zakk Wylde that he was inspired by Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix when he wrote that riff. And now that he said that, that's like all that I can hear every time I play it. So the riff starts off with that low F sharp, and then immediately jumps up to that high double stop on the E and B strings, which is about as physically far away as you can get with the pick. But the secret to playing this and making it sound clean isn't to be like ultra precise with it, it's to play damage control with the left hand. Learning this riff can really help you improve your left hand muting skills, because what you want to do here is to keep that first finger nice and loose across all of the strings as you play that high double stop. This is using something I've called the skin capo, or the Ed Gein technique, to make the best use of your muting skills. Watch my first finger here as I play through the riff. You can see how I go from fretting the note with the tip of my finger to then just kind of loosening everything up. Just now when I played that double stop, I hit the G string too. You just didn't hear it because it's being muted by the skin capo. I mentioned something earlier called the Ozzy bounce, which is something this riff can help you get way more better at. I call it that because it's something that like all of his guitar players have used. It's where you play a couple 16th notes on a bass note and then strike a chord above it. You've heard Randy Rhoads do this. As well as Jakey Lee. To do this, the pick has to navigate from that bass string to immediately swatting the higher strings for a chord or something. And this riff is a great introduction to it because it's a little bit slower than Crazy Train or Bark at the Moon. To achieve this, you're going to need to use downwards pick slanting, which is something I've talked about many times here on my channel. You can learn all about it by checking out Troy Grady's amazing Cracking the Code series, which was like a life changer for me. But the basic idea here is Zakk's picking doesn't go up and down like this. It goes more at a diagonal trajectory like this. So did Randy's, so did Jake's for the most part. You can really see that escape angle here, right? On that last upstroke. Makes it a lot easier to snap those high strings. After that, the riff starts evolving into the verse part by going into that more straight 16th note feel on that low F sharp. It also features some of Zakk's signature pinch harmonics. Let's check it out. The first person I heard doing two-string pinch harmonics like that was like Nuno Betancourt on the Extreme 2 record, right? He's got tons of those. He'll play a double stop and kind of snag both of them with a pinch harmonic here. You've really got to grind the pick and your thumb into the strings whenever you do this stuff. And you got to hit pretty hard. Don't go super light on this stuff. And whenever you make contact with those two strings, it should have this weird overtony sound to it. A lot of times people think they're doing this wrong because they don't put vibrato on it, okay? We'll talk about the vibrato here in a second. But if you're doing this right, it should sound like this. It's really weird sounding, right? But when you put some shake on those ropes, it gets that really nice scream sound like you hear in the riff. Be sure to use your first finger to mute out all the unused strings. Pinch harmonic face is optional, but recommended. The verse part features an 80s staple, some implied chord changes over a static bass note. Let's check this out. So you'll notice that the bass just stays on F sharp even while Zakk is playing those chord stabs up top. This is something that we've heard all the way through the 80s. I've got a whole video about it right here on my channel. Be sure to check that one out. And this is also a perfect moment to put out a word of praisely for Bob Daisley, the bass player on this track. Everybody focuses on the Aussie guitar players, and yes, they're legendary and they're our heroes and we worship them. But dude, they wouldn't have songs to play on if not for Bob Daisley. Bob has always been the secret weapon of Ozzy's entire catalog, and he's one of the most undersung heroes of all time. Seriously, look at the guy's writing credits. He's written lyrics and riffs and songs and everything that you've listened to your entire life. Bob rules. He's an amazing bass player. And I love that he keeps it simple and just plays that low F sharp note underneath these chord stabs. So far, the song has been focused on F sharp for all those riffs. When we get to the chorus, we're going to take a little bit of a detour here and go a fifth up to C sharp minor. Let's check this out. Let's talk a little bit about studio magic here and how the imperfections make this stuff sound even crazier. So against that C sharp, Zakk is going to play this double stop here. He's grabbing the G and B on fret 11, kind of reflecting a little bit of that C sharp minor blues Dorian thing that we all use in rock and metal. Now, whenever he does those, he's got some vibrato on them. Again, using that first finger to mute out all the bad strings. And the vibrato has this really wild, out-of-tune, crazy sound to it. That's kind of a signature of Zakk's on the recorded material. That's because there's at least 2 guitar tracks going on right here. There's minimum 1 on the left, 1 on the right. They might even be quad tracked or something here. And the rate that he's bending those strings is naturally kind of different. It's not exactly like the left and right sides are perfectly in sync with those bends. They're kind of out of sync and fighting each other a little bit. This is part of what makes Zakk's vibrato on his rhythm parts and his like pinch harmonics and stuff sound so furious and crazy. We'll talk about the double tracking and the solo a lot too whenever we get there. But whenever you do this in the studio, deliberately make them different from each other. Make one a little slower than the other one, make one a little bit faster, and you're gonna get that really cool kind of fighting sound with the shake on those notes. It's imperfect, and that's what makes it sound fucking awesome. The chorus ends with that straight 16th note walk down part. What I recommend doing is focusing only on the downstrokes, okay? So this means if I'm thinking about this beat going by, rather than thinking of 1 E and down, up, I'm just gonna be thinking about 1 and 2 and 3 and. I'm only focusing on when the downstroke is contacting the string. 1 and 2 and 3 and. I look at the upstroke as being the consequence of having to reload the pick for the next downstroke. I'm not thinking of the upstroke as its own note. It's just the reload. 1 and 2 and. Only focusing on the downstrokes. This can really help you keep your playing a lot tighter whenever you're playing those straight 16s. After another verse and chorus, we get up to Zakk solo, which is his first ripper in his entire Ozzy career, which is pretty crazy. No pressure there, right? It's your first solo as Ozzy's new guitar player. What are you gonna do? No big deal. What he did is lay down an absolutely incredible solo that doesn't overstay its welcome, follows the chord changes in a really cool way, and introduces us to so many wild isms that we can learn from. It kicks off with those awesome 2-string arpeggios. Let's talk about these. The first one is a B sus2 arpeggio. Root, 2, and 5 intervallically. The next one's a C sharp minor. And then there's a D major. The cool thing about this is it shows you how arpeggios don't necessarily have to follow the chords. A lot of us feel really tied down to having to follow chord progressions with arpeggios, but this shows you how you can use them to expand on the harmony rather than just agree with it. So the riff behind there is doing F sharp and E and D and B. If he was following those arpeggios, just like the chords, it would have sounded like this. It would have been like F sharp minor, E major, D major. It probably would have sounded kind of boring. Kind of like Cliff Burton-y sounding, right? Instead, he's expanding on that harmony because against the F sharp that he's playing over, this, which I recognize as sounding like B sus2, actually sounds out as, see, that B note would be a fourth above F sharp, C sharp would be the fifth, and then the high F sharp note's the root. It actually ends up making it sound more like an F sharp sus4 altogether. The picking pattern that Zakk uses here once again utilizes the powers of downward pick slanting. It can really help you learn how his picking style works. Check this out. So I mentioned earlier that one of the big advantages of downward pick slanting, this picking trajectory right here, is the escaping upstroke thing. That's what helps us get from the low strings to the high strings for the chord swipes earlier in the song. The other main superpower of downward pick slanting is the ability to do consecutive downstrokes, because it's kind of like having a paintbrush that's permanently angled this way. It's going to go down the wall nice and easy, right? And that's exactly how it works with these double downstrokes that he uses. Every one of these arpeggios is played by going down, down, up. Again, the double downstroke thing happens because of the angle of the pick, and the upstroke pops out of the strings, which makes it easier to restart the entire sequence. Now, what I just played right there with the D arpeggio isn't necessarily what's on the record. You'll notice that it sounds more like he's doing something like this. Did you hear that little wind up at the end? He's kind of like getting his picking going in advance for the next really fast 2-note per string lick that he's playing. I really like that sound. It's like a little imprecise. It's like a little bit frenzied and chaotic sounding. So yeah, if you want to play this exactly right, do that little wind up. This solo is all double tracked, just like what Randy used to do when he'd like triple track solos and stuff. And the wind ups, whenever he gets the picking motion going, are kind of out of sync with each other. It makes it feel like there's like entropy rising before he plays this crazy blast of notes that's coming up next. Again, the imperfections are what make it so cool. Then he hits us with the 2-note per string pentatonic lick. Okay, that lick right there. Is 100% brought to you by downwards pick slanting. Once again, every one of these licks is going to feature 2 notes per string. That means our downstroke goes in, our upstroke pops out, which makes it easier to get to the next string. He's shaking them ropes more than the Ultimate Warrior at SummerSlam '89. Use that fulcrum, use that wrist right there, This isn't really about finger vibrato. It's about creating this fulcrum point with the side of your hand on the neck and your thumb on top and rotating your forearm like this right here. This is where the power of vibrato comes from, not this. Unless you're dime. But we're not dime. On that bend, he's also doing another huge Zakk-ism, which is accenting just that one note by turning on the wah pedal. Did you hear that? As the bend goes up, the wah goes down. Really just kind of accents it and gives it that really intense sound. That's very, very much a Zakk trademark. He plays those arpeggios again and then wraps up this section of the solo with some really nasty bends, once again accented with the wah pedal. And massive vibrato. After that, we get our key change to C sharp, and Zakk really smooths over that transition by giving us this slow bend up to that new key center of C sharp. Added chaos by the fact that he's got the wah pedal kind of accenting it, as well as, once again, that double tracking being slightly out of sync. The bends aren't exactly rising at the same time, and it sounds dope. You've heard Dimebag Darrell do this all over the place. It makes those bends and stuff just sound so cool. You can't really capture that sound on just one guitar track. It goes to show you how much it pays to double track those solos for moments like that. Okay, look at this shit right here, dude. How cool is that, right? You'll notice how the left hand is always gripping on the string and helping do those bends. Don't try to do the bends over here with your picking hand. That index finger is not going to be strong enough to do those on their own. The right hand here is really just holding the string down, and the left hand is facilitating those bends more than anything. See the left hand doing the work right there? Same there for that high one. Love the muting that he does on this lick that's really like C-sharp bluesy sounding. Notice those really dominant sounding dyads he plays in there. Again, we're playing over C-sharp. That's spelling out a C-sharp 7 chord. Very bluesy, very funky sounding. Another big wah accent on those rock bends, those unison bends that he does, and he continues that as he plays the last section of the solo. Notice how I'm towing the wah down at the height of every bend. If you can see my foot right now, it's going wah, wah. That's a good illustration, right? Really makes it sound like those bends are like growing in intensity. And then the most out of control like turkey call vibrato ever. I'm gonna guess that Zakk probably got a lot of his vibrato from Gary Moore. Gary Moore is one of his heroes and one of the sickest guitar players of all time. Holy shit. Gary was a monster, dude. A lot of you guys out there are sleeping on Gary's playing. The guy was a demon, incredibly influential player. Probably your favorite player's favorite player is Gary Moore. And you know, I notice sometimes whenever Zakk does that, he has the thumb really parked back here at the joint of the neck. Sometimes when I do those, I like to even put the thumb here at the side of the neck. Do you see that? That lets me get a really good strong fulcrum and get closer to the note rather than doing it up here. Your mileage may vary. Freaking awesome solo, very memorable, doesn't overstay its welcome. It's got chops in just the right place, follows those chord and key changes beautifully. I think as far as like first impressions of Ozzy's new guitar player, I don't think he could have done a whole lot better than that. So there you go, guys, a deep dive into the tune that introduced us all to the amazing Zakk Wylde. I think it's really mind-blowing that he was playing at this level and thinking this way and writing this memorably at age like 20 or 21. Like that's insane. That's like Eddie Van Halen stuff, you know, when you think about how young he was when he was doing Van Halen 1. Pretty insane. At that age, I was still writing like the worst riffs ever and just trying to prove to the world that I could shred or whatever. And man, Zakk was just knocking it out of the park with this stuff. Probably had the hardest to fill guitar gig on the planet at that point, and dude just stepped up and smoked it. The early Zakk stuff is so sick, man. So many memorable solos, riffs, all of it. Truly a total package player. Not just one of those guys that's like just a lead dude, you know? That's something that I think that people don't talk about enough when it comes to Zakk. We all talk about, yeah, the fast pentatonic stuff and pitch harmonics. Yeah, obviously that stuff. But you're talking about a guy that's like Dime in that regard. He's equally deadly as a rhythm player as he is a lead player. A guy who can wear both hats and be the only guitar player in the band and smoke it no matter what he's doing. Believe it or not, this is actually the first Zakk Wylde video I've ever done on my channel, I think. Somebody fact check me on that. But I want to dig into more. So let me know in the comments section what your favorite Zakk Wylde tune is, and maybe that'll be the next episode of this series. And by the way, if you guys want an amazing, easy to follow, note-by-note lesson on how to play the song, check out my man, Mr. Tabs, over here. I used his transcription to learn a lot of these parts, and they are dead on balls accurate. His videos are great. They're always really well put together. His tabs are accurate. So be sure to check him out. Tell him Uncle Ben sent you. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I know a lot of you guys aren't subscribed out there, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. If you want to get even more out of this video, check out the super extended cut that's only available on the Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. In that video, I'm going to show you guys a whole lot more details and talk about the tone way more extensively. Show you exactly how I'm setting up everything that I'm doing here to get the tones that I'm using in this video and get you guys more in that Zakk Wylde kind of ballpark. $1 a month gets you access to that battle area as well as hundreds of other goodies, so don't delay, sign up today. And as we go through our week, let's keep a good thought and try to make the world a better place, one act of kindness at a time. I think global entropy is just on the rise, and I see people being nastier and nastier to each other in those comment sections and stuff, and just don't think the world needs any more negativity. You know, let's try to be a positive force of change here in the world and make the world a nicer place, one act of goodness at a time. Let's be good to each other out there. Now grab that rock guitar, start mashing some rope. Let's click it. More picking.